Probably because you don't like the song, or probably because you are okay. But when I pray, I find myself in a place of humility because at that point, it's easier, I feel, when I pray to fall into a temptation of pride. To think that it is because I pray, or because I'm sweating, or because, as the Bible put Jesus kind of prayer, I think he prayed until his sweat turned into blood. When you pray like that, you will now go and sow, cast up those things Reverend Fathers used to wear, or Reverend Ministers in others, you will now sow it and wear it. Because you have prayed and you have also answered your prayer by yourself. Every time you pray long, one of the first things you must do is to wear a cloak of humility. It should make you broken. God is not moved by our prayer. Are you hearing me? Your prayer cannot move God. It will never. In fact, your cry, not the people that like crying. Once you sing, I sang the song you will not like. If I sing the one people like, there's one. I can't remember it, but whenever until that sings it, most people begin to cry in the church. So I've used that song is a crying song. So now when you now play and someone will cry, the way you will cry, people will think that something bad really happened to you. And then after you are done crying, you go back and it's as if nothing changed because it doesn't move God. What does the Bible tell you? It said that what changes God or what moves God is what? A broken heart and a contrite spirit. It said he will never ignore those two. When your heart is broken, your spirit is contrite. God is not going to ignore you. But if you think it's by fasting, you will fast and you will be tired. You will slim down. So when we pray, we must wear a cloak of what? Humility. Your life can be changed by knowledge. Your life can be changed by prayer. The reason why that thing is possible is because whenever you read the Bible or you pray, one of the things that happens is that you make interface with God. So it's not that this Bible or the word has strength in itself or that your prayer has strength in itself. But it is the application that helps us to appropriate what we are doing. And that application is that we add God to the equation. So if you pray and you don't meet with God, you need to pray even more so that you meet with God. Are we together? Yes. Okay. They said our topic is the hedge. So I was careful enough to think and pray for today's service. While I kept praying, I kept thinking that what I think or what I thought I knew about that place, I didn't want to use what was in my head. And I didn't want to apply what I think about that particular verse, Job chapter 1 verse 10, if you can help me put it on the screen. I didn't want to apply it. I didn't want to give you something that wasn't fresh. So I kept praying. I just closed my Bible and I didn't want to read again. And I kept praying. It was while we were praying that something struck me and it changed my entire idea of what we were supposed to do. So when I say that I'm going to try and conduct deliverance, I'm going to attempt to conduct the deliverance from here, I need your attention. Are we together? Good. So, let's read from verse 1 and we'll come down to 10. So people that want to sleep, I got my eyes on you. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. And that man was perfect and upright and one that feared God and eschewed evil. See this thing here. You don't see a place where they say, and Job was an apostle. Is it what we read? But that Job used to conduct deliverance on people. Is it what we read? Good. There was nothing to suggest that he was even a pastor here. How that some of us think that because we are nice people, bad things can happen to us, or bad things shouldn't at least happen to us. Especially because I don't attack anybody. So, there are people that think like that even here. Say, why is a demon attacking? I don't believe in demons. I've never prayed against them. So why should they attack me? This is your forefather. Sitting here, Job. He did not attack anybody. In fact, he was so nice. And then he was perfect, he was upright, and he feared God, and he hated evil. Let's see the next one. And they were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. Next. His substance was 7,000 sheep, 300,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, 500 she asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. Next. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. Meanwhile, pay attention, Job lived in an era before Abraham. So when you read the book of Genesis, Job comes far before you get Abraham and the rest of them. Are we together? Are you listening? Are you getting what I'm saying? So this guy existed before Abraham. There's a reason I'm saying this. We'll come back to that. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be, not that they have sinned, but it may be, maybe they have sinned. I'm not sure. Quite frankly, they might also be as upright as Job, but he's just saying it may just be. So let's be careful. You can't be too careful. So let me just offer a burnt sacrifice on their behalf. Because I'm a nice guy, I don't want trouble. Even if maybe they offended somebody else, I will go and intercede on their behalf. I don't want trouble. I'm a nice guy. He said, and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. Remember that in all of these things, the party that the sons of Job did, they never invited Job. Did they? They invited the daughters. Job, is old school, so it's Gen Z people that did the party, and then this guy was the one praying for them. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and who else came? Came also among them. Pay attention. But people who gathered, verse 6, people who gathered were the sons of God. And while they gathered themselves together, someone else came. Satan was not called the son of. Assuming we didn't have this and here, we would have said, okay, Satan was amongst them. But they said and. So they were the sons of God, and then there was another guy called Satan. He came and stood among them. When the sons of God gathered together, Satan came and stood amongst them. Are we together? Pay attention. Now that sons of God have gathered, if you're a child of God, if you're a son of God, let me see your hand. There are intercessors that are not following you. Amen? So the people who did not raise their hand, they are not sons of God. No problem. No problem. Now, whenever sons of God gathered, someone came and stood among them. Who was that? Satan. But you know that he was referred to as Satan here because of something very important. This Satan here is more like how do you say, is his duty. a role. The name tells us more about his role than who he is. You know how you call devil, you call Lucifer, you call Satan. In some places in the Bible you see that devil will now be in plural from devils. I don't know how many of you have come across that in your Bible. Devils. So when you see Satan, devils, Lucifer, they don't mean the same thing, even though they might be the same person. The same way that if you come to my office, you will not refer to me as Chime or Mezie or Chimezie or Mr. Chimezie. If I have a title that I should be referred to, because I am in my office, it's now an official thing. Maybe if you had referred to me outside of that official capacity, it wouldn't matter. But because we are in an official capacity, you have to mention me by what I'm doing. Are we together? If you go to a designer's place, you are going to meet with a designer. If you are going to a painter's office, you are going to meet with a painter. Even though outside he might not have his painting things, but when he is holding he's a painter. Are we together? Now, when you now hear Satan, it's descriptive. It's telling you, okay, this guy has worn a kind of cap that shows us that he's not just the normal person we know. What this thing here will tell us is that whoever it is that you knew before that time, the matter is now serious. He is here to do a job. Do you know that God was also there? You know that the sons of God gathered in the presence of the Lord. Like the presence of God, the one that the Bible says that in his presence there is liberty and fullness of joy. Do you know that same presence? Who was there? The same person that could bound the people who don't get it yet. Good. Let me rephrase it. In the presence of God there shall be liberty, and my people shall be full of joy. And then comes somebody. Why none of us are in the presence of God though? That should free us. Someone now comes in with cap and he comes with chain to bind the people who are supposed to be free in the presence of God. That is power. And that is the power some of us don't understand. Why they are praying to be free the way we have prayed. That guy comes in with chain to tie us. Why God is there? Did God do anything? Okay, see, pay attention. Like they told us, they were nice guys. They are nice guys. People that are not like Melissa or Pastor also that like chasing demons. Maybe like me, that like minding their business. No, I don't mind my business every time. Let me check. Okay, let's use. I know Eunice does not care about Marie's place. Let me use Eunice for instance. Eunice doesn't care. She has always been minding her business. Her own is just to do meat pie and eat and be happy. But now, God, why? And you know she's doing a good job with her duties in church. She's not looking for anybody's trouble. All of a sudden, God now begins to do something that nobody sent him to do. Nobody sent him. I'm a humble guy. I don't even need you to sing my praises. I'm not doing it for you. And then God now says, go to verse 7. Look at what happened. And the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Next one. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? This guy has been on his own. God is the one now calling him and putting him in trouble. Are you seeing what I'm saying? They mind your business. They're not looking for their trouble. You have never, in fact, you don't even mention marine kingdom in your house. You have said this is 30 years now that you have lived, 50 years. You have that marine. In fact, the only marine you know is the one in the US Army. You have never prayed against them. You don't even like water, only to drink and use it to cook. All of a sudden, minding your business. Papa now comes and says, Satan, have you considered that guy that is minding his business? He doesn't look for trouble. He doesn't pray against the people. In fact, if there's a mistake, he will sort it out. Just like that, this guy enters into the room. Nice guy. He said, have you considered my servant Job? That your life can be so pleasing to God, and God will begin to make boasts with your life, and then it will put you inside trouble. Maybe I shouldn't be perfect. Maybe I shouldn't be upright. Maybe I should just be a normal guy. Do one or two. You know how we say a little wine? Just do a little sin for the belly. Just so God will not boast with me. If I'm too perfect and God now boasts with me, and then I enter inside trouble. Serious dilemma. If I'm not seeing this trouble, and a lot of you here are already inside that kind of this, God doesn't boast with you. You won't know, Shah. Now he's saying there is none like him in the earth. This is God testifying about this guy. He said he is a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Next. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, does Job fear God for naught? Question mark. This shows us his job description. He said, does Job fear you for nothing? God is saying, this is God, right? He's all-knowing. 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 You know that, right? That God knows everything. That's what makes him God. You understand? Yes. And then you ask him this kind of question. Do you remember how devil added? What did he add? Was it a question mark he added? Did God really say to the Garden of Eden question? God said, he said, did God really say? Just so you question. And that day, Bible called it the serpent. And then we are seeing again Satan here. He said, does Job fear you for nothing? This is a rhetorical question. I know you know the answer, sir. Me, I know because you are all knowing. Do you think that Job fears you for nothing? Then you see the next thing. Has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he has on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. Two things you must note here. One is that there was a hedge all around him. Two was that God had blessed him. His substance has increased in the land. There was hedge and there was prosperity. Are you paying attention? Two things. There was a hedge all around him. What this hedge is basically there has been a fence, a boundary. God has made a fence all around him. Simple. But another issue is that this kind of fence is not the one you do with bricks or with blocks or with mortar. Like I told us, this entire episode in Job happened way before Abraham. Are we together? Yes. Alright. So there was nothing like all of those things. But bricks came later, by the time of Moses. They saw mortar, they're coming up. They kept evolving. So, but around this time, how they made hedges, even now it has continued, was that you use a ticket. You know what a ticket is? We did it last Tuesday. A ticket. How many of you remember what a ticket is? Thorns now, bushes. So God will put a bush around you. Yeah, bushes. And then those bushes is used as fence. But then, what is there in the bushes? What they used to make those things are tickets. Tickets are thorns. And when we did it last Tuesday, what was in the tickets? How many of you remember the ticket in Abraham, Genesis chapter 22, that Abraham saw? What was in that ticket? A ram. The horn was cut in the ticket. So there was inside the ticket, inside that hedge, there was a ram that was cut in it. Now, pay attention. This thing I've said, don't forget it at the end, we'll come together. So the reason why this guy is making his argument, that the reason why this guy is fearing it, he said, you have put a hedge around him. But the hedge now, the reason why it is effective is because it has stones on them. You can easily jump over them. You can even pierce through those hedges. If you didn't have anything, but then they put stones the way you have barbed wire on the fence, so that it can be a fence, a hedge that is strong. You secure it with thorns. God, being God, now put something in the ticket. He puts a lamb in it. But you will not get it now. You will get it later. So, what this guy is doing here is what? He is, you see, another thing, land. He is accusing both God and Job. So whenever we see Satan, his work is simple. He wants to accuse. If you go to the book of Revelation, you hear one, you say, accuser of the brethren. What he is referred to there as is Satan. So that word there is, he wears it as that's his office when he comes to accuse. So he comes to, like a plenary session where God sits as king. And then Satan comes in and is going to accuse. He wants to do it from a place of power. He's doing it because it is his office to accuse. He does it as a right to. And whenever we have land disputes, it starts with an accusation. You crossed, okay. You crossed the boundary. You crossed it. Sometimes nobody crossed anything, but they will accuse you. They said, this is not where, you say you crossed by 1 foot, you crossed by 2 foot. All of them, you go to court and they say it is an accusation. Someone has accused that I boundaries. So when we talk about hedges, we're talking about boundaries. And that this hedge, okay, let's read the book of Hosea chapter 2. Let me see if I can see a biblical definition of what I'm saying. Okay, Hosea chapter 2 verse 6, I think. Let's see, Hosea 2 verse 6. You can see a definition of what I'm saying. Hosea 2 verse 6. Therefore, behold, I will hedge up thy way with what? So if you use a dictionary to define what a hedge is, you will come up with this. A hedge that is a place, a hedge that is made up of thorns. Not this taunting, because it will come up handy by the time we enter the deliverance part. Are we together? Okay, so let's see Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 8. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 verse 8. The media person is quite slow. Is it because I used you as an example? Okay, let me use my Bible. Okay, with it. He that diggeth a pit shall fall into it, and whoso breaketh what? An hedge, a serpent shall bite him. A serpent shall bite him. But the person the serpent bites is not the person that stays within the hedge. It's the person who does what? Breaketh the hedge. So long as you are within that hedge, nothing can happen to you. And the hedge does not stop you from prospering. It doesn't bind you so much so that you cannot be enlarged. But once you break it, you break the hedge, the serpent will immediately bite you. And I told you that this serpent here, this ancient serpent here, is the same as Satan. He accuses you. The moment that hedge is broken, what the devil wants to do to you is to accuse you. And when that accusation comes, he's not the one that will do the sentencing. I hope you are aware. Who does the sentencing? The judge or the accuser? The judge. God will be the one to handle you. So don't worry. And you know that when you are fighting with God, even me, if you call me to come and say, get the fight, I will not come. I was just tired and shouting, more grace. That's how intense it is. So you can do everything you want to do, be okay, but immediately you step outside of that place and the devil begins to accuse you. Immediately that thing happens. The serpent, you are done for. He bites you. He bites you. Now, all of these things I'm saying, it won't make sense yet, but it will eventually. So just sit tight, we'll keep going. Amen? Amen. Don't forget everything I've said so far. Don't forget. Hallelujah. Amen. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 3. Go to find where the devil, God was saying, the serpent shall bite your heel, the seed of the woman. Yeah, get that place for me. It's down. Genesis chapter 3. Okay. Okay. Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So this thing here was one of the prophecies that God gave that Jesus was going to come. The seed of the woman, women don't necessarily have a seed. Are we together? The man puts the seed. So the seed of the woman here was Jesus. It was something weird that they didn't understand it when Christ came, where a virgin got pregnant all of a sudden. Nobody understood. It was just the woman. Are you paying attention? So that's the seed of the woman. And when I say, I'm going to put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Basically, he is going to bruise thy head. He will match your head. And by virtue of him matching your head, you are going to be able to bruise his heel. So, the serpent has beaten a seed. This seed here, are you with me? Yes. This seed here that the serpent beat. Remember, Genesis chapter 22, let's go to verse 8. Genesis 22. Verse 13. Okay. And Abraham lifted up his voice, his eyes, and looked, and behold, behind him a ram was caught in a hedge by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering instead of his son. So, there was a replacement here. The son is supposed to die. The seed of man is supposed to die. But instead, God provides a sacrifice. Are you paying attention? Yes. God provides. Remember in verse 8, this guy is saying, Isaac is saying, Father, we have, this is the fire, this is the wood, we have everything we need for where the sacrifice. And he's saying, God will provide. Whereas God has already said, go and sacrifice your son. And then he's going to sacrifice his son, and God says, don't lay your hand on him. Immediately he's now looking, God eventually provides another sacrifice, and he was caught in a hedge. Remember that someone died, and by the time he was dying, they put a crown on his head. And that crown was a crown of what? Tell me now. Thorns now. Some people just did this. Is it only rice people ate? You didn't remember? They put what? Thorns on his head. That was a sacrifice that God provided. I told some of us who came last Tuesday that this same mountain, Mount Moriah, where this guy went to sacrifice his son, was the same mountain how many years later that Jesus was going to die, where you have Golgotha and the temple of Solomon built. So God now replaces the person who broke the hedge that the serpent was supposed to bite by putting a lamb in the tickets. Are you getting it now? What is giving that ticket power? It's not because he has power. It's not because he has stones. You know how serpents are. The serpents can go. He can walk anyhow and enter. Of course, he knows his way around it. The problem is not that thing, because when you see all those tickets, it can be blackberry bushes. You can see all those things. You have those stones, but they will be holes. So if the serpent makes himself very small, and this serpent is wise by age, by time, he has lived long. He knows how to meander himself into your life. The thing now is that even though it can pass through the ticket and come to where I am, what is giving that ticket power now is because there is a lamb that has been caught in it. So God can say, well, even though you did it, little children do not sin. But even though you sin, you have a senior advocate with the fact that Jesus Christ the righteous. Is it making sense? That whatever that guy was saying, this is what's giving me power. You know, okay, it's not because I have put all of these things in place. It's not because of it. It's because there is a lamb that has been cut there. There has been a replacement for me. That even though I made the mistake, true, I am guilty. But you know how Bible says in the book of James, it says mercy triumphs over judgment. It's because someone has replaced me now. It's not making sense. It will make sense, don't worry. Let's see examples. Psalm chapter 109, 3 to 9, 109, Psalm 109. Let's see the story of Judas. Let's see his prophecy. Judas, Psalm chapter 109. We'll read from 3. So let's look at the prophecy of Judas. They compassed me about also with words of hatred and fought against me without cause going. For my love, they are my adversaries, but I give myself unto prayer. Next. And they have rewarded me evil for good and hatred for my love. Next. Set thou a wicked man over him, and let Satan stand at his right hand. When he shall be judged, let him be condemned, and let his prayer become sin. Next. Let his days be few, and let another take his office. Our place says, let his, when you see this reading in the book of Isaiah, his bishopric, let another take. This is the prophecy that signified the death of Judas. He said, the day when he will be judged, let Satan stand by his right hand. You know how that men of God will come, there are people who are very dramatic, and they will say, if by the mandate of heaven, as I raise my right hand of power, and then when you now raise it, Satan is behind the side. Say, bring that thing down. You can be messed up. It can be quite embarrassing. And what will first happen is that you have this guilt. That's where it will start from. They will begin to tell you one or two things wrong. That thing you did, you think nobody. We know it though. Simple things. So he will just be asking you questions. He know the answer. You know the answer. We know this thing. Why are you reminding us? And it's just on your right hand of power. That's where he will stay. And that was what happened to Judas. He said, when that time comes, when you will be judged, said, may Satan stand there. That's not a good prayer to pray for somebody at all. He said, may Satan be by a whole bishop. You know that guy, the Bible called him a bishop. You didn't know, Judas. He was a bishop, Apostle Bishop Judas. Said, Satan. Okay, let's read another one, Zechariah. Let's read Zechariah. This one is popular. Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1. We'll read through 8. Zechariah. Apostle Zechariah. Again. The sun is hot. I'm trying to finish up very quick. Media, you are not helping me. Zechariah chapter 3, verse 1. Oh my God. Okay. And he showed me who? Joshua, the high priest, standing before the angel of the Lord. The angel here is a definite article. So we know who this person is, right? Reincarnate Jesus. I've taught this a lot of times, so I believe you should know. So the person who is standing, Joshua is standing before the angel of the Lord. Because this is the angel, it's not an angel, it's not angels. We know it is talking about one person. The angel of the Lord is referred to as Jesus. That was Jesus before he took on flesh. And Satan standing at his right hand to resist him. This resisting this guy was doing, he was doing it in the presence of the Lord. Look at the next one. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord, okay, look at me. Intercessors, arise, please look at me. Remember that it was the angel of the Lord, remember? Who is speaking now? Who was he standing before? Are we even here? Is it the heat? Who was he standing in front of? The angel of. Go back to verse 1. Maybe I'll ask one. Anybody that is sleeping, please get the mic ready. I'll just ask the person to donate money. Hold the mic. And he showed me what? Joshua the high priest standing where? Before. How many people are here? Joshua the high priest. Next one, the angel of the Lord. Next one, Satan at his right hand. Now, these are the three people in the room. Next verse. And the Lord said unto Satan, the Lord rebuked thee. So we know that the angel of the Lord is the one who is saying, who is the Lord who said unto Satan. Three people. The narration was these three people until the end. The Lord said, you know when the Bible said in the book of Hebrews, he said, the Lord said unto my Lord. Was it Hebrew or in the New Testament? Then there was another one in the Hebrew. He said, because you love righteousness, the Lord said unto you, oh God, thy throne is forever. You read that place? Where God was saying to God, oh God, thy throne is forever. That was God speaking to Jesus. He said, because you love righteousness and hated iniquity, the Lord thy God have put a crown, anointed you above your fellows with all of gladness. We are seeing that kind of narration here. He said, oh Satan, even the Lord that had chosen Jerusalem rebuked thee. Is not this what? A brand plucked out of the fire. Is not this brand here is where when you want to burn a bush, you want to burn a bush, they use a stick. You use a stick and be setting fire so it will go around, that kind of thing. That's what it means. Said then when you are burning the fire, you use part of the stick to choke and make sure fire went around. Is this stick not the one remaining? That's what happened here. It is true that you destroyed the whole hedge. You burnt it down. This one that is remaining, is this not part of the hedge? That was where Arabasita. God was just, you know how the Bible said, was it in the book of
Ezekiel said, I was looking for a man to repair the head. Just one. Only one. And I found one. Just let somebody just come up and say, I'm only, let it be one person. Only one. You don't need plenty. Just a remnant. That's what he needs. A remnant. One person. Let it be that everything is burning. Let there just be a brand and it comes. Let's see the next one. Now Joshua was clothed with filthy garments. He was filthy. We agree. Very guilty guy. We agree. Satan was at his right hand. We also agree. He is guilty. All of us agree. Even we that read it, we agree. Before the Lord that he was standing, even though he was a high priest, we agree that he was guilty. Next one. And he answered and spake unto those that stood before him, saying, Take away the filthy garments from him. And unto him he said, Behold, I have caused thy iniquity to pass from thee, and I will clothe thee with change of raiment. The reason why this was possible was because a brand remained. Let's see the next one. And I said, Let them set a fair nature upon his head. So they set a fair nature upon his head and clothed him with garments. And the angel of the Lord stood by. Next one. And the angel of the Lord protested unto Joshua, saying, Go to the next. Thus said the Lord of hosts, if thou wilt walk in my ways, and if thou wilt keep my child, then thou shalt also judge my house, and shalt also keep my courts, and I will give thee places to walk among these that stand by. Next. Hear now, O Joshua the high priest, thou and thy fellows that sit before thee, for they are men wonder at. For behold, I will bring forth my servant the branch. Even though it seems that nobody wants to remain, he's saying, no problem, you don't want to give. I will bring forth who? My servant the branch. That the lamb that is in the ticket that God put there, that the tongue, the head was caught in that ticket. That when the devil sets fire, or you break the head, and then everything is as if that's God. That one there, that's how you will come up and answer the branch. Mercy triumphs over the world. So little children do not sin. But if you sin, you have with the Father a senior advocate, Jesus the righteous. We are going to pray. If there is an accusation against your household, against your family, against your prosperity, it's because your hedge has been broken. A ram that was caught, there is a provision by it. All you just need is to introduce the person of Christ into it again. That ram will speak for you. It said, it's my servant, the branch. We are going to pray. Like I said, the difficult part is to teach it and then for you to understand it. Maybe you don't understand everything, but the one you understood, I want you to bow your heads now and make very intense work with it. You don't need to stand up. I don't want the place to be rowdy. Bow your heads, begin to pray with it. As it is my tradition, I'm not going to force you. We've already had intensity. We've prayed hard. I just want you to pray from your heart this time. I want you to do it simply. I want you to do it orderly. I want you to make intercessions. Wherever this voice of accusation is rising against my household, against my father's life, against my mother's life, against my family, let that round that was caught in the ticket begin to speak for me. Even though I am guilty, even though my family was guilty, even though maybe they did it, maybe the devil is right to accuse me, maybe let mercy triumph over judgment. That's the prayer. Hey, and I sought for a man who will repair the hedges. Jesus. I don't like the intensity yet. See, I won't force you, but I'm going to plead with you. Jesus, I am not even sure of myself. I am not even certain. I want you to play Father of all spirits for me on the keyboard. If you can. If you can. Some of you are just the way you are. Listen, this is where the work is. When you begin to face a demon that is coming to you, and the only way you can win that demon is through the power of legislation, you will lose it. When it comes to thinking demons, intellectual ones, who will accuse you with something that you don't know how to handle by virtue of your handling of the sword of the Spirit and the word of truth? You will fail. You will fail flat. Jesus, it is true. Is this one not a brand plucked from fire? Father of all spirits. So brindi sagavakoria takaba, Henry did sopodis, Apali no momo swatela sagavakoria, Perutis adile soko. Today is for prayers. It's for prayers. Let's do something simple and let me pray. It's my family, not the plan.